One day, I woke up to a nightmare at my dream beach house. I bought this place for one reason. It's private beach access. Years of saving had gone into owning that little slice of paradise, a quiet path leading straight to the waves. But that morning, everything changed. As I sipped my coffee on the deck, I spotted Linda Harper, the HOA president, marching a group of strangers down my path. A shiny new sign caught my eye: Ocean View Heights Residence Beach Access. I nearly dropped my mug. Without a word to me, the HOA had declared my private walkway open to everyone from 8 a.m. to sunset. I couldn't believe it. I rushed outside, heart pounding, and called out, "Hey, excuse me, this is private property." The group turned, some looking annoyed, others confused. Linda stopped, her smile tight as she stepped toward me. "Oh, good morning. I'm Linda Harper, the HOA president. Nice to finally meet you." She said it like we were at a picnic, not standing on my land. "This path is for all our residents now," she added cheerfully. "The HOA voted on it." "That's impossible." I shot back, trying to stay calm. "This is my property. I've got the deed to prove it." Linda just laughed, glancing at the group as if I were the crazy one. "Oh, I think there's been a misunderstanding. This access has always been for the community. You must have missed that when you bought the house." Her tone was so smug it made my skin crawl. "No," I said firmly. "I built this path myself. Paid for every plank and nail. Nobody used it before me." But Linda waved me off like I was a pesky fly. "Well, it's official now. The HOA's made it a community feature. If you've got a problem, write us a letter. We'll review it at the next meeting in 3 weeks." Then she turned back to her tour group, leaving me fuming on my own steps. I wasn't about to let this slide. That afternoon, I dug out my property papers. The survey map was crystal clear. The path was mine, all the way to the water's edge. No shared access, no community rights, nothing. Armed with proof, I decided to fight back. The next day, I took down their ridiculous sign and put my own: "Private property, keep out." By noon, Tom Ellis, the HOA vice president, was at my door, looking sheepish. "Linda sent me," he mumbled. "She says you can't remove HOA property." "HOA property?" I snapped, "Show him my deed." "This is my land, Tom. Your boss is trespassing." He scratched his head, unsure. "Linda showed us maps saying it's always been community access. I'll talk to her, but she's not happy." I didn't care. I was done playing nice. Days turned into a battle. Linda kept sending people down my path, neighbors, kids, even construction crews with plans for benches and lights. She claimed it was all legal, flashing some sketchy HOA papers, but I wasn't backing down. I called a lawyer, Sarah Klein, who confirmed my ownership with county records. No easement existed. Linda had lied. Finally, I faced her at an HOA meeting, my evidence in hand. "This path is mine," I declared, holding up the official survey for everyone to see. The room went quiet. Linda's face turned red, but she couldn't argue with the truth. The HOA backed off, forced to admit their mistake. They took down their signs, and I got my peace back. Standing on my deck that evening, watching the sunset over my quiet beach, I smiled. Sometimes, fighting for what's yours is worth every second. The trouble didn't stop after that first day. It got worse fast. I'd already told Linda Harper, the HOA president, that the beach path was mine, but she didn't care. She kept pushing, acting like my land belonged to everyone in Ocean View Heights. One morning, I woke up to find her leading another group down my path, pointing out spots for benches and lights. Then I saw it, a new sign nailed into my fence that read, "Ocean View Heights Community Beach Access." My stomach twisted. They put it up without even asking me. I stormed outside. "This is my property." I shouted, "You can't just take it." Linda turned, her smile fake as ever. "Oh, relax," she said. "The HOA voted. This path is for all of us now. It's official." She waved some papers in my face, claiming they proved her point. "That's nonsense." I shot back. "I've got my deed. This land's mine, and I built that path myself." But she just shrugged. "Take it up with the board if you don't like it," she said, then walked off with her group, leaving me steaming. That afternoon, I checked my property papers again. The map was clear. The path was 100% mine. No shared rights, no HOA claims. I even had photos of me building it 5 years ago. So I ripped down their sign and tossed it by my garage. Big mistake. By lunchtime, Tom Ellis, the HOA vice president, was knocking on my door. "Linda's upset," he said, looking nervous. "She says you're breaking rules by removing HOA stuff." I showed him my deed and photos. "This is my land, Tom. They're the ones breaking rules." He frowned but didn't argue. "I'll tell her," he mumbled, then left. Things got crazier after that. Linda didn't back down. She doubled down. She posted on the Ocean View Heights website, calling my path a new community perk. She even planned a big beach party on my land, with tents and music, like it was hers to give away. Neighbors started showing up daily. Kids running wild, dogs digging up my yard, people trashing my plants. One guy hooked up my garden hose to fill a kiddie pool, jacking up my water bill. I put up private property signs, but they vanished overnight. Then came construction. One day, I heard hammering and saw Jake Miller, Linda's nephew, with a crew building something big at the end of my path. "What's this?" I demanded. Jake grinned. "Community Beach Shack. HOA approved it." I stared at the wooden frame. "You can't build on my land." I yelled. He handed me a paper with an HOA stamp. "Says here it's ours now," he said, then told his guys to keep working. I called the city about permits, but Jake laughed. All signed off. Linda knows the right people. I was losing my mind. Every day brought new headaches, broken gates, stolen flowers, noise I couldn't escape. The HOA fined me $200 for damaging community property when I took down their sign again. They even threatened to slap a lien on my house if I didn't pay. My dream home was turning into a war zone, and Linda was winning. But I wasn't done. I called my friend Mark Davis, a lawyer, and showed him everything: my deed, the fake HOA papers, photos of the chaos. He dug into county records and came back with gold. No legal easement existed. Linda's claims were a lie. We took it to an HOA meeting, me holding my proof like a shield. "This path is mine," I said, voice steady, showing the room my survey. Linda tried to talk over me, but Mark shut her down. "The county says no easement. You're trespassing." The crowd murmured, eyes on Linda. She stammered, then stormed out. The next day, the construction stopped. The HOA backed off, forced to admit they'd overstepped. My sign stayed up, and the neighbors stopped coming. Standing on my path that evening, waves crashing below, I felt the quiet return. I'd fought for what was mine, and won. Gasps filled the room. Linda lunged toward me. "You can't accuse without proof." "I have proof." I showed property records. Linda bought these homes for pennies after HOA foreclosures. Then I played Henry's journal recording. Linda visited today. Said if I didn't sell, she'd make it impossible for Laura to keep the house after I'm gone. People gasped. Linda stormed at the projector. "Turn that off. This meeting's over." But Mayor Phillips stepped in with 2 officers. "Continue, Mrs. Grayson." I played the whistleblower's tape. Linda's voice rang out. "The Grayson place is prime for condos. We'll take it cheap." Next, the Miller and Johnson properties. I pointed to old Mr. Johnson in his wheelchair. His violation started the day he refused to sell. Linda lunged for my laptop, screaming, "This is illegal." A deep voice cut through. Detective Carter. "Florida's a one-party consent state, and we have a warrant for your financial records, Mrs. Harris." Chaos erupted. Linda shrieked. She was framed as Detective Carter read her rights. "The lien on Mrs. Grayson's property is suspended pending investigation," Mayor Phillips announced, "and I suggest new leadership for this HOA." As Linda was let out, neighbors hugged me, apologized, shared their own stories of her bullying. But Tom was missing. Outside, I saw him watching from his car. Our eyes met before he drove off. 6 months later, spring flowers bloomed around the new historic plaque on my lawn. Grayson Homestead, EST 1872, National Register of Historic Places. My roses, now protected by rewritten HOA bylaws, thrived. Margaret waved from across the street, planting trees for our beautification project. Hard to believe it's been half a year, she called. Indeed, Linda's arrest sparked an investigation revealing shell companies, forged documents, and bribes. 12 properties were illegally seized. 3 HOA board members faced charges. The papers called it the county's biggest property fraud case. Linda, free on bail, fought with high-priced lawyers, sending me threatening letters I forwarded to Detective Carter. My phone rang. "Mom, Linda took a plea deal," Emily said from the courthouse. 5 years probation, full restitution to victims, banned from real estate or HOAs for life. I sank onto my porch swing, relieved. It's over. Almost. Judge Wilson ordered her to apologize to each homeowner. She'll be at your house tomorrow, 2 p.m. that night. I barely slept, haunted by Linda's hateful glare from the meeting. Morning brought neighbors with casseroles and support, but I needed to face her alone. At 2 p.m., a black sedan pulled up. Linda stepped out, thinner, older, her designer clothes swapped for a plain gray suit. "Mrs. Grayson," she said stiffly, "I'm here per court order." I invited her in. She hesitated. Uneasy in the home she'd tried to steal. We sat in silence in my living room, steeped in 5 generations of memories. "I'm required to apologize for my actions regarding your property," she recited. "My behavior was inappropriate and illegal." I studied her remorseless face. "That's it? After trying to take my family's legacy?" Her eyes flashed. "I built this neighborhood. These old houses dragged down property values. I was improving things. By threatening a dying man, my voice stayed calm despite my racing heart." She looked away. "The courts ruled. I've lost everything. My company, my reputation. You still have a future." Henry lost his. For a moment, her mask slipped, revealing a flicker of fear. As she stood to leave, a car door slammed. Tom walked up, nervous. "I didn't know you'd be here," he said to Linda. "Court-ordered apology," she muttered, brushing past. Tom turned to me. "I'm here to make amends, Laura. Not court-ordered, just right." He handed me a leather portfolio. "These are the original deeds and maps Linda took from county records. No one can challenge your ownership now." My hands shook as I saw my great-grandfather's handwriting. "Why'd you help her, Tom?" He sat on the porch step. "She found my gambling debts. Threatened to tell Lisa. It started small, then I was in too deep. What now?" "Moving to Florida, near my daughter. Selling the house." He looked at mine. "I envy what you have. History, belonging." As Tom left, neighbors gathered for our first potluck. Margaret's idea to heal after Linda's reign. Tables groaned with food. Kids played where generations of Graysons had. Paul strummed his guitar. George wheeled Mr. Johnson under my century-old oak. Margaret handed me lemonade. The mayor called. The city council passed the Willow Creek Historic Protection Ordinance. No HOA can override it. As sunset bathed my house in gold, I realized its worth wasn't in dollars. The creaky floors, sticky windows, and cranky plumbing held stories money couldn't buy. Linda was gone, her schemes undone. With Emily, Margaret, and a reborn community beside me, I knew Henry would be proud. Our home and our neighborhood stood stronger than ever. Below is a rewritten version of the content based on provided outline from Section 3. Dieu travaux fatien et mieux. I've kept the meaning, context, and storyline intact, adjusted the language to level 4, simplified and natural, changed the character names, and ensured it's written in standard American English. I've added a clear, engaging ending to make the story cohesive and exciting, while marking changes in bold for easy comparison. The narrative flows smoothly and remains captivating. I wasn't about to let Linda Harper steal my beach path without a fight. I needed help. So I called my buddy Mike Turner, a lawyer who knew his stuff. Check the county records. I told him, handing over my deed. I need to know the truth. Mike got to work and came back fast. "No easement," he said, grinning. Nothing in the county file says anyone but you owns this land. Linda's full of it. That was my first win, but I needed more. Then my neighbor stepped up. Ben Carter, the HOA vice president, stopped by one night, looking uneasy. "I've been here 10 years, he said. "There was never a community path before you built it." Even better, Mrs. Olson, an old-timer who'd lived in Ocean View Heights forever, brought me a faded map. "This proves it," she said, pointing. "No beach accessing a lot. Ever. Linda's papers are fake." I had allies now, and the puzzle was coming together. Things got wild when I figured out what Linda was really up to. She wasn't just some pushy HOA boss. Her husband, Greg Harper, worked for Blue Coast Builders, a big-shot company planning fancy condos nearby. They needed my path to link up their land for a multi-million-dollar project. And get this, they'd taken $80,000 from the HOA's piggy bank to build that community shack on my beach. Except it wasn't for the community. It was a private cabana for the Harpers, complete with a kitchen and beds. They were using our money to build their dream spot. I needed hard proof to nail them. One night, I snuck down to the beach with my phone. Under the moonlight, I caught Linda and Greg talking with the builder, their voices low but clear. "Once we got this path locked down," Linda whispered, "their house value drops. They'll sell cheap and we're golden." I hit record, my hand shaking. Jackpot. The next day, Mike got more ammo. County papers showing my property stretched 15 extra feet onto the beach, right where their cabana sat. They'd built on my land, and I could prove it. With everything in hand, I marched into the next HOA meeting, ready to end this. "Linda's lying to you all," I said, holding up my phone and playing a recording. The room went dead quiet as her voice spilled out, plotting to tank my home's value. Then I showed the county map. "This is my land, 15 feet more than they admit. That cabana's illegal." Neighbors gasped. Mike jumped in, flashing the HOA's own bank records. "They spent $80,000 of your money on their private hideout." Linda tried to squirm out of it, yelling, "This is nonsense." But the crowd wasn't buying it. Ben stood up. "We trusted you, Linda. Where's our money?" She grabbed her bag and bolted, Greg right behind her. The HOA called an emergency vote that night. Linda and her crew were out. The cabana got torn down the next week, and the county fined the Harpers big time for fraud. Standing on my path, watching the waves, I felt lighter than ever. The truth had won, and my beach was mine again. I'd had enough of Linda Harper messing with my beach path. It was time to hit back. Hard. My lawyer, Emily Brooks, didn't waste a second. "We're getting a court order," she said, filing papers to stop all the building on my land. Linda's crew had sneaky poured concrete overnight, trying to lock in their shack. But Emily was faster. The judge slapped an emergency ban on everything. No more hammers, no more mess. When I saw the workers pack up, I felt a spark of hope. The fight wasn't over, but we'd stopped them cold for now. Next came the big showdown. I walked into the Ocean View Heights HOA meeting with a stack of proof. Fake papers, stolen money, and Linda's dirty plans. The room was packed, everyone whispering as I stepped up. "Linda's been lying," I said, holding up doctored HOA maps next to my real ones. "She faked these to steal my path. And she took $80,000 of your cash to build her own beach house." I showed bank records, my voice steady. "Her husband's in on it too. They wanted to sell our land to Blue Coast Builders for condos." The crowd lost it. "You stole from us?" shouted Mr. Hayes, a guy who'd lived here forever. "I paid extra dues for that beach." Others joined in, yelling about missing funds and broken promises. Linda tried to talk her way out, banging her gavel. "This is crazy. Our records are fine." But I wasn't done. I flashed photos of her meeting with builders, plotting to cash in. "You're selling us out," I said. The room turned on her. Someone yelled, "Vote her out." Hands shot up fast. Linda and her board were gone. The HOA demanded a full money check, and I knew we'd hit her where it hurt. Then the law caught up. Linda and her husband, Greg Harper, tried to skip town, bags packed for some far-off place. Cops nabbed them at the airport. slapping cuffs on for fraud and pocketing $2 million of our money. Turns out their fancy beach mansion, the one they bragged about, was bought with HOA cash. The court took away and turned it into a community hangout for Ocean View Heights, with rooms for meetings and free beach gear. Seeing that sign go up felt like a win for all of us. A week later, I stood on my path, waves crashing below. The concrete was gone, hauled off after the judge's ruling. Linda got 10 years behind bars, Greg too. The HOA put in a new board, honest folks who promised no more tricks. My neighbors waved as they passed, some even saying sorry for believing Linda's lies. I'd fought for my land and uncovered a scam bigger than I'd ever guessed. Now, with the sun setting over my quiet beach, I knew it was worth every step. Below is a rewritten version of the content based on a provided outline from Section 5, Ket Tuk Vajai Fap. I've kept the meaning, context, and storyline intact, adjusted the language to level 4, simplified and natural, changed the character names, and ensured it's written in standard American English. I've crafted a clear, engaging ending to make the story cohesive and satisfying, with changes marked in bold for easy comparison. The narrative flows smoothly and stays compelling. After all the chaos, I wanted things to settle down, but fairly. I stood up at the next Ocean View Heights meeting, my hands a little shaky. "I've got an idea," I said. "I'll share my beach path, but only during the day, with a gate to keep it safe. In return, the HOA takes care of it and pays the insurance." I held my breath, waiting. To my surprise, everyone cheered. Hands went up fast to vote yes. Ben Carter, the new HOA head, grinned. "That's a deal," he said. Just like that, peace came back to our neighborhood. Things didn't stop there. The HOA used some leftover cash to build a real community beach path half a mile away, on land they actually owned. No more fights over my spot. And Linda Harper? She got hit hard. 15 years in jail for her scams. Her husband, Greg, went down with her. After that, Ocean View Heights rewrote the rules so no one could pull tricks like hers again. Everyone agreed. We'd learned our lesson. For me, it was personal. I'd fought for my beach and won. Standing on my path now, with a sturdy gate and a limited access sign, I could breathe easy. The waves sounded sweeter than ever. This wasn't just about saving my land. It was bigger. I'd uncovered Linda's lies and protected the whole neighborhood from her greedy plans. One sunny afternoon, I bumped into Mrs. Olson, the old neighbor who'd helped me early on. "You did good," she said, patting my arm. "That new beach path down the road? It's thanks to you." I smiled. The community had turned Linda's old mansion, bought with our stolen money, into a hangout spot with picnic tables and free kayaks. Kids laugh there now, not schemers. As summer rolled in, I sat on my deck, coffee in hand, watching the tide. My path was mine again, shared just enough to keep the peace. Linda was locked up, her dreams of condos dead. My neighbors waved hello instead of glaring. I'd started this to save my slice of paradise, but I'd ended up saving us all, and that felt better than any sunset.